Good morning. Good morning. I want to talk about the glory of a king. Let's talk about the word glory. Before I define it, let me just paint a picture for you. An artist, when he does that, when he paints a picture, the work is known as his glory. See, anybody who love and has an appreciation for the arts, they understand this. And if that's not you, let me walk you through it. When an artist displays their work, the reason it's called their glory because anyone who beholds it, studies it, looks closely enough upon it, they find out something about the artist just by looking at their painting. Before you ever meet them, before you ever know them, before you ever seen their face, you find out so much about them through their creation, through the works of their hand. This doesn't matter if they're a painter, if they're a sculptor, anybody who creates any type of work, an architect, their work is their glory. I watched my daughter in her art class. She had her painting selected to be displayed at the hospital. And she was so proud. She know what their work meant. She know the the mindset, the style. She knows the intention of the art. In other words, the message that she was trying to portray. She knows all of that, and then she puts it on display for everyone else to see. And none of those people would know any of those things from her mouth, but they see it in her works. The glory is in the work. Now that I've said that, let me give you this about the glory of a king. That word glory, you'll find it in the Old Testament, you'll find it in the New Testament several times. In the Hebrew word for glory is kabod, the Greek word for glory is doxa, and both of these words mean the same thing. It means the full weight, the nature, the essence of God. See, the essence of a king, just like I described about the artist, it works the same way for our king. His glory is revealed through his creations and through his work. Another word, if none of those made sense, the full weight, the essence, the nature, if none of those make sense, let me just sum it up this way. That word doxa, it also means the reputation. See, the reputation of a thing is carried inside of the creation and inside the work. That's what David says in Psalms 19. Psalms 19, David says, the heavens declare the glory of God. The heavens, his creations, capture his glory. His created acts. This is what Moses says these words in Exodus, the 14th chapter, verse 17 and 18. When God is talking to Moses about Pharaoh, this is what he says. He says, my people will know my glory through my works. I want you to take hold of this. Let me tell you what he's saying. The Israel had been slaves to Pharaoh, had been slaves to the Egyptians for over 400 years. Catch this now. Please catch this. Yet before any of that had happened, God reveals this to Abraham. He tells Abraham, you're going to be the father of many nations. This is what it's going to look like. And then he says, your people are going to be slaves for 400 years. And then I will free them. He's telling Abraham his plan before it even happens. Why? Because of what verse Exodus 14, 17, 18 says. It tells you his intent. Why did he do that? Why did he allow these people to be slaves for 400 years? Because, remember, because of the fall of Adam, because of what had happened, there had been a separation from God. His name was not being praised. He was not being talked about. There was all this idol worship going on. And he says, because of what happens for 400 years, at the appointed time, after that 400 years, I am going to free those people. And when I do, they will know it's me. They will know it's my handiwork. So I told you what David says in Psalm 19. I told you what Moses says with his axe. The glory of a king is revealed by his creations and by his acts. We get to see his nature, his essence, what he stands for, what he's capable of, his glory. Now, here go what makes this so amazing to me. John 17 chapter captures Jesus' intercessory prayer, his prayer for all of mankind. It's for all of mankind because he doesn't just pray for those who already know him, but he prays for those who are to come. Verse 22 of that 17th chapter of John, it captures this very important message. Jesus says to his Father, he says, the same glory that you've given to me, I now give to them. He said, I'm going to share my glory with them. I'm going to share my reputation. See, Jesus' walk and his word was bond. Everything that he did reflected his love. He tells the people, you will know God the Father through me. See, because he carried God's glory, the doxa, his full weight, his splendor, his essence. So you were made in his image so that you can carry his essence, his likeness. And he said that same reputation he had, he shared it with you. Oh, that's amazing. That's great news that you share God's glory. Now, since that's the case, now read it. I didn't make this up. That's John 17 and 22. So now that that's been established, and I'll walk you through what glory is, let me give you this. One of the other gifts that Jesus gave us is the power to use his name. He says you can ask for whatsoever you will. Ask it in my name, and it will be done for you. I want to put these two things together. See, when you carry somebody's name, you carry the power of that name. But one of the other things that you carry, and please don't forget this is my message today, is that you also carry his reputation. So watch this. If I allow any of my children to go to anyone I know and I says, hey, go tell that person to do A, B, C, and D and tell them that your daddy said it. And when you tell them that, because you use my name, they're going to give it to you. If they went and did that, but they also didn't carry my reputation, what do I mean by that? Well, they go and they tell this person whatever it is they're asking for, but this person seeing, that's not how your daddy would do that. And your daddy wouldn't ask for that so that you can do it that way. He wouldn't tell you that it's okay for you to spend his money on that. He wouldn't want me to give you this because this is going to harm you and you're showing me that you're not capable of it. They wouldn't give it to him. See, using his name does not mean that you get to use his benefits if you're out of order of what he told you to do. If you're out of order of what his glory is and what his reputation is. We carry God's glory. Let me just give you this scripture. In Psalms 4, listen to what David says so I can make this point clear. I'll wrap it up with this. Psalm 4, verse 2. He says, how long, O men, will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you turn my glory into shame? How are they doing that? They were putting other things first. They were worshiping false gods. They were being disobedient. All the things that does not capture his true nature, he says we put him to shame. That's Psalm 4, verse 2. This is not my opinion. Psalms 4, verse 2 says that. So if you can put his glory to shame when you are out of order, then, therefore, it makes you ineligible to use the power of that name because now you're out of order. Let's go back to the very beginning when I gave you the illustration of a painting, of a sculpture, of an artist. The minute that you abuse that artist's work, you have now shamed his glory. That was not his original masterpiece. That was not the design in which he wanted it displayed. It no longer carries the nature, the essence, the full weight of what he created and what he worked for. Likewise, according to Psalms 4 and 2, we can shame God's glory when we don't act like him. And if we're not acting like him, we cannot expect him to fulfill whatever it is that we're asking for in his name. Last thing I'll tell you, he points this out again when he says, I am a jealous God. I was not meant to share my glory with all that other stuff. All right, you read that verse before. He says, I don't share my glory. He's talking about, I don't share my glory with all that other stuff. I have to come first. According to John 17 and 22, when he left, he wanted you to share that glory which the Father gave him. He gave it to you. So that part he did share with you. He doesn't want you to then take that, his original masterpiece, and make it ugly, not like him. Make it, abuse it where it's not like him. To devalue it where it's no longer like him. So, here's the great news in saying all that. You share God's glory. You share his reputation. And because you share his reputation, he has a vested interest in making sure that you are a success. What's your job? Your job is to share and to act like and carry the same representation that he carried while he was on the earth. That's why he tells us to imitate him. God bless you. See you next time.